This is how we ended the season last year, victorious in the Super Bowl for the first time in the franchise. And now it's time to defend our title and make another run to the Super Bowl now in the 2030 season. And with a major upset in the wild card round, we get to face the 7-seed Cleveland Browns, a team that features the second best scoring defense and is very tough against the pass, but doesn't have a great offense, scoring just 22.5 points per game. We did not play Cleveland this year, and this is our first meeting. Their number one player is Kyle Donnell, a pass rusher at 93 overall. And there is still Myles Garrett on this team now at age 34, and still one of the better pass rushers in our franchise. So a tremendous duo with Donnell opposite, standing at 6'1", 251, a little bit shorter than most edge rushers, but power moves, finesse, block shed, they really speak for themselves there. Very athletic, and they rank him the number one right end in football. The quarterback is Brad Cotton, a 28-year-old quarterback who has been their leading passer for the duration of this series, beginning in the 2025 season. He's never put up elite production, but he's good enough to stay the starting quarterback. I'm not that familiar with their playmakers outside of Jerry Jeudy, of course, but Jared Lauderdale, Reggie Thorpe, and then running back Zach Boley are the main playmakers in this offense. So if there's anything to be concerned about in this matchup, it's our tackles holding up against their pass rush. If they can keep us from establishing what we do well, they'll have a chance to pull off this upset. Jelani Swain cannot afford to have a bad game today, and unfortunately, he's had a series of bad games, giving up multiple sacks at numerous points this season. He has regressed to allowing 18 sacks this season. So perhaps our best plan of attack is to lean on our running game, where Joe Johnson led the league in rushing touchdowns this year. Now, in simulating practice, you'll notice Benji Cormier is now hurt and is going to miss this game. We only have Joe Johnson and CJ Merriweather healthy right now, and I think we're going to want another veteran. So we're going to open up a roster spot then, releasing Will Levy, an outside linebacker. And surprisingly, Isaiah Pacheco has been available this entire time, and so has Jonathan Taylor, who has had some big games against us, and we know what kind of a playmaker he was at the top of his game. I know for sure I need someone who can catch the football, and both do that pretty well. I think I'll have to go with Isaiah Pacheco then in this spot. He is better in most of the important ratings, lower in ball carrier vision. That's one of the only advantages Taylor has. But Pacheco, a little bit better pass catcher and more athletic at this stage of his career. So he's going to be the third down back then, as we need that pass-catching skill set. But what a great season we've put together this year, coming off the Super Bowl win and having to pay our quarterback big money, move on from some players, but still be in position to make another run at things. We have young players that have taken impressive leaps in their second years, with Thomas Ridley and Joseph Bowen each playing a key role on this team. And that's, of course, putting it lightly when Bowen just broke out as the Defensive Player of the Year in his second season. Not too bad for a guy who was drafted late in the second round. I should see it as a pretty good sign that Mike Goodson gets 2 upgrades here in this spot, but we did get a big defensive boost for reaching our sack goal this year. So there's a little bit of extra development across the board. But Goodson is one of those guys who we haven't heard a lot from during the season, but now in the playoffs, we'll see who can turn it on. I mean, last year we had Stanley Billups catch the first 3 interceptions of his entire career in his first career playoff game. You never know who it's going to be in these spots. That's a good upgrade for Benji Cormier, and hopefully he has a chance to play some playoff football this season. And here we go again, everybody. The postseason gets underway with Chuck Johnson trying to bring this team back to the Super Bowl just as he did a season ago. I think in many ways this is an even better team than what we had a season ago. Just seeing the growth of the young players on this roster. I mean, some of these guys are going to earn massive contracts in the next couple of years. But while they're here, we have a chance to secure some big-time wins. And let's get it underway. We are going to see the defense first. So Cleveland, not a very potent offense throughout the year, but upset Buffalo in round 1. That's a loss, courtesy of Trayvon Walker, losing 2. Running on second down, and there's an opening, and Goodson makes the tackle on Boley just shy of the mark. Cleveland running it, and nowhere to go. There is the Defensive Player of the Year. All he seems to do is end opposing possessions. There was a lot of that in the last episode. And let's prepare for our first postseason drive. I have also read the feedback on the last episode. The Giants game and the way that ended with the mismanaged clock situation obviously ruins the experience. And what I'm planning on doing, if we run into a situation late where a team is trailing, they have the ball, they have run out of their timeouts, then I'm going to actually get into the gameplay and try to have as minimal impact as I can on the outcome. That could mean I attempt to just stop the clock if we're on offense, or just call a defensive play and get us out of Super Sim at least if it's the CPU that has the ball. But the goal is to not have any awful endings of that caliber again. But here is the beginning. It's Chuck Johnson off the fake, and on the first snap he loses it. Somehow we retain possession, but that is a glimpse of what could be our downfall if we cannot block these two edge rushers. So they're going to have Kyle Donnell, it looks like here, lined up on the bottom, as Johnson off the fake will dump it to Joe Johnson. This is the matchup, though. Swain versus Kyle Donnell. Myles Garrett on the opposite side has a good matchup. And here's a catch. It's first down. On 3rd and Wicks, we convert. Running it to the right side and overpowered by Donnell. Another loss. And nowhere to go on this run either. If the Browns can consistently get us in these situations, they can continue to get after Chuck Johnson. 3rd down, they bring 5. Johnson extending and meeting Myles Garrett. That's a big impact by this pass rush on the opening drive, and I just saw injury timeouts. Oh, don't even tell me that Chuck could be hurt. We're going to see next time we get the football who's out there. I would assume that is Chuck Johnson who got hurt. But the defense is sent back out, and I think there's not going to be a lot of room for error in this game. As Cleveland runs and bouncing off of Lloyd, the second effort nets them a gain of 2. Running it again, and Bowen is there. Telfer following behind. You got a couple of the most dominant defensive players in the league in this game. Here's Cotton's throw, and shy of the mark, it brings up 4th down. We'll begin at our 37-yard line, and there is Chuck Johnson leading the offense back out. Oh, it was actually Garrett who got hurt. I assumed, wow, that's an upper arm fracture. He would obviously be done for the day in that case. Can Cormier go? No. Sometimes guys just don't get listed there on the injury report. I don't know what causes that issue. But no Myles Garrett now. So it really is all on Kyle Donnell on the opposite side. 1st down and plenty of time to find Ridley. Big pickup in Cleveland's first snap without Garrett. In the backfield, Isaiah Pacheco just signed after waiting all year for that phone call. And Pacheco gets the carry, sweeps with a flag coming down. It is against Jacksonville. Yep, Jelani Swain. Kyle Donnell makes an impact once again, drawing the holding call. Throwing it short now, and it's hauled in by Wicks. We get to third down. Again, Pacheco in the game. Johnson, he's hit and dropped as he just salvages a little bit of it for Aubrey. And here he is to try a 50-yard field goal for the game's first points. Kick is away, and it is good. 3-0 Jacksonville. Brad Cotton back to pass, and with 2 receivers in the area, they'll gain 6. Second down and 4. Testing. Billups. I don't think so. Saw him there in press coverage, and he's prone to giving up some good releases in those positions. But long frame, able to make plays on those footballs. It's third down, and that's a sack for Trayvon Walker. Joe Johnson, the single back, as the Jaguars go play action. Johnson climbs, works his way near the line of scrimmage, but ultimately is sacked for a 4th time already. He was sacked on numerous occasions last year in the postseason, including an 8-sack game. Third down and 12. It's open for Kevin Parker. Johnson, a quick floater. That's knocked away by Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Not a pass we typically see Johnson even attempt. So on the edge of field goal range, third down. Can't take a sack. Nice job, Swain. Just tackling the pass rusher. That'll keep the quarterback clean, and it's 4th down anyway. But now the offense is going to stay on. So this is one of those game-changing moments here, as Johnson will throw it and hook up with Ridley. Down to the 9. It's first down. Can Cleveland keep us out of the end zone, though? At the 7, we're going to Joe Johnson through the middle and then got hammered at the 4. And now we see Kevin Parker have to come off. Into the locker room he goes. He missed time last year in the postseason. So now we're looking at Adonai Mitchell stepping onto the field, 3rd and goal. Back to throw, rolling, intercepted in the end zone. And then Johnson makes the tackle on a rare mistake. I can't recall the last time Chuck Johnson threw a red zone interception for us to see. Protecting the football has been his calling card the last couple years while still being dynamic. And usually, if he lets it go, there's a good reason. And that's why Cleveland is one of the best defenses in the league. They take over, dumped over the middle, gain of 7. Play action, pressure, got there! I mean, there's nowhere to go. Quarterback has to get rid of it. Receiver is covered perfectly. I wouldn't want to face our defense, but I do wonder what it would look like. And we're stuffing the third down run. No problem. That's where it would be so fun if they would allow you to export teams like you could many years ago in franchise. I don't think I ever really used this feature that much, but there are different things I'd love to experiment with now. Pitting teams against each other, you know, whether it be like a year 5 version of a team versus a year 10 version of that same team, or even just to see what our offense looked like against the defense. That's Thomas Ridley on the catch. The first round pick is showing you why I had to take him. Hands off, and through the middle runs Joe Johnson to the 34. Again through the middle, broke a tackle. It's Johnson for 7. Now Pacheco heads to the outside. There's a gain of 6. Again, Cleveland forcing third down. They stack the line. And Johnson will not get it despite breaking initial contact. And we're going for it again. Already 1 4th down conversion. Now 2, it's Thomas. Makes a move inside the 5. 7 first downs for Jacksonville, while Cleveland has 0. First and goal, Wick slot left. Adonai Mitchell in motion. Back to throw, and this time it's caught for 6, and that's Thomas Ridley. Touchdown, Jags. And he's certainly doing something right to draw all these targets early in the game. And I still think there is a higher ceiling for Ridley yet to reach. But he has taken more of a leap this year than I imagined he would. His yardage, for instance, surpassed anything we saw from Curtis Easley, despite Easley being superior in certain areas. With the way Cleveland's played offensively, 10-0 feels almost insurmountable. But we know it ain't that easy, as Cleveland should be able to get their first down now as they pick up 9.5 on that. Uh-oh, that looks like a mess, and they're lucky to get just an incomplete pass out of it. You might want to keep this one simple. They do, and narrowly converts. I mean, everything has to be earned. Back to pass, and that goes for 8 yards. Off the fake, pressure, and getting it away. Goodson had the first chance there at a sack. He was flying off the edge. 3rd and 2, I don't think that's going to work. You're going to have to try something else. Two minutes to go in the first half. Johnson to the outside, and that's Adonai Mitchell. Cleveland sends 4. Ridley continues a big day, and he continues to gain a lot of yak. 90 seconds to go, and that pass is again complete. Wicks for 7. And why not spread out the defense here? We got Johnson stepping up and caught by Ridley. Take off to the end zone. A 2-touchdown day for Thomas Ridley. Jacksonville opens their lead up. It's a 3-possession advantage. Now Cleveland desperate for something to go their way before halftime, and it will not begin here. A sack for Alex Ratliff. And things are spiraling out of control pretty quickly, even by Cleveland standards. Open, complete at the sideline. That's Lauderdale. Pressure off the edge now. A good throw to the outside, stopping the clock. 3rd and 3, and the sticks will move. First down, Cleveland. This is suddenly the best drive they've put together. Can they just get something? Not being down 3 possessions would be a good first step. They're not there yet. And avoiding the sack is Brad Cotton. Play action. It's fired and picked off. Stanley Billups again. How many postseason interceptions is it now? This guy comes to play when the lights shine brightest. That was almost a no-look pass. He wasn't even, positioned to throw it to the left side of the field there. What was that? And we leap ahead to the second half. Jacksonville on the move, and Joe Johnson works his way to a generous first down spot. They've certainly gotten to Johnson a few times, but without Myles Garrett, it seems this defense has taken a massive step backwards. And Joe Johnson does get the first down. Jacksonville on 3rd down, and that is Adonai Mitchell with the first down catch. Joe Johnson slips that first tackle and fights through the second as he gains 5. I feel like the broken tackle skills as a power runner have really showed up this year for Joe, as he carries again, spins his way for 6. And the Jaguars are running away with this division round game. And this game goes to the Jaguars, 27-6. A dominant win. All sides of the ball clicking for this team today as we head back to the AFC Championship game. Johnson did have the end zone interception that really surprised me, but it was his only real mistake. On the ground, Joe Johnson, what a time for a 114-yard game. When you have to face this pass rush, when you are missing your counterpart in Benji Cormier, he carries 25 times and shows you why he might be the next great running back here in the franchise. And then Thomas Ridley to catch 10 passes for a $159, be a consistent problem for this defense. That was a career game for him. This team is so much fun, and they're now one win away from a Super Bowl appearance. The only negative in that game is that we lost Kevin Parker, and there's a pretty good chance now he is done for the postseason. But we are going to face the Baltimore Ravens with a Super Bowl ticket on the line. We had to beat them in the division round last year, and Lamar Jackson is back to try to make it to the Super Bowl. We are indeed without Kevin Parker, but also Reuben Ross got hurt late in that game, so we're a little thin now at receiver. And no practice injuries this week. With Cormier's return, I am not going to release Isaiah Pacheco. We're just going to keep him on the active roster to still be a good backup pass catcher. But things do get thin now at wide receiver. With 4 healthy players, Caleb Davis now gets the number 4 receiver spot. I think I'm comfortable with the way things are because Joe Wilder could also fill in there in a pinch as the 5th receiver. But here is your playoff bracket. It's Jaguars and Ravens with Packers Giants on the other side. There's a chance even we have a Super Bowl rematch. But Baltimore made it here after winning a high-scoring game against Kansas City, 42-35. Jackson and Mahomes go toe-to-toe once again, and both were excellent with very similar stat lines, but just a little bit more on the Baltimore side. Now, we have a lot of experience against the Ravens. We played them again during this last regular season, and that was a Jacksonville win. So we have a 2-game winning streak against Baltimore. Last game was a 24-10 finish. Very close going into the 4th quarter, and we pulled away late. What stands out to me from that game is how good Baltimore is against the run. Joe Johnson just had his 2nd most yards in a game all year. It'll be tough to have anything similar happen given how tough they are up front, and that begins with Nnamdi Madubuike and their defensive line. And wouldn't you know it, he is out with a torn labrum. That changes everything in this matchup. And let's spend some of our staff points here. Let's get that extra point of acceleration for running backs and receivers. Then we're also going to improve the juke move. Then we're going to improve our power running. And I would like to get that stiff arm boost if I could. Strength goes up for running back. That's when I think we go to level 3 on. And trucking. I mean, we're just making Joe Johnson even better right now. The Super Bowl runs through Jacksonville. 4 teams remain. Can we head back to the Super Bowl once again? We made it in the final year of Chuck Johnson's 6th-round contract, now trying to make it in year 1 of his new $50+ million extension. Keep in mind that while he counts towards a significant portion of our salary cap, it pales in comparison to Lamar Jackson's cap hit, which sits over $100 million. I'm not sure you can get there without some significant restructures. I don't know what's happened there in Baltimore. But we're underway, and on to the offense. Chuck Johnson leads this team out, and we're going to hopefully be able to have a more balanced day against this team. No Nnamdi Madubuike, and a lack of star talent now in that front 7. This day is going to open. with Joe Johnson up the middle, 7 yards. Back to pass now, and they get to Chuck. He loses 4. The offensive line is rarely a strength. They're serviceable most of the time. There's Cormier. Welcome back. They do not give him the first down, though. Can Lamar get this team off to a strong start now? We have had the Ravens number for a while, and I treat the Ravens like a bit of a franchise benchmark. When you can start to compete with a team that's physical like them, that has this super talented quarterback in Lamar Jackson, you know you've made it! Oh, it pinballs, incomplete. Should have been a pick, though. Play action, and dumped off for no gain. Jackson 3rd down, sets the screen up, and Telfer busts the screen on 3rd down. Jacksonville ball, and again, Johnson is going down. Cheeks gets the sack that time. At our 27, it's Johnson over the middle. Brian Thomas with the extra power, 1st down. And a counter with Joe Johnson racing to the edge. That's a big 1st down. Now the fake to Joe. Caught by Dontavian Wicks, 7 more. I want to see how Ridley follows up that big 10-catch performance in the division round. 2nd and 3. It is over the middle, incomplete. Adonai Mitchell moves the sticks. Ravens can't get through as Thomas picks up 9. And the offense, well, that could be impactful. Sam Cosme's going to leave the field. We missed him for a lot of last year's postseason run. There are a lot of parallels right now. With this red-hot run onto the postseason, Johnson continuing to pile up yards. But we missed Parker and Cosme for much of last year's run. Cosme came back for the Super Bowl. And here we are, AFC Championship without those two yet again. And it's 1st and goal. And to the outside now, Joe Johnson to the 6. Joe Wilder on the field here. He could always leak out and break open. 3rd down and goal. Johnson flying to the outside and running it in for the touchdown. You think you have them until you don't. And the Jaguars strike first. I'm not sure what you call this from Joe Wilder, but he kind of uses them as a roadblock. 91 here doesn't have a clean path. He has to go around Wilder. I suppose it's like a basketball pick is how it played out. So for those of you that have wanted some 2K action, I apologize. That's the closest we've gotten in the last 5 years. It's not because I'm not interested in playing. I love 2K. But right now we're trying to get toward ring number 2. Lamar, the MVP, flag down, and that's going to be called on Ezra Telfer, PI. Fake the jet toss, Bowen, right into the chest of Jackson. Here's a full house Raven look, they love this. And they're set up here to run to the right side. And things do set up nicely, 4 yards. And here comes the mess right now. Showing pressure. Flowers in motion. Another fake from Jackson. Buys time and gets rid of it. 3 and out. Football's a lot easier when you have 4 players on your roster that are $100 million plus caliber players. Joseph Bowen is already there in year 2, but is going to make a 2nd round rookie salary for 2 more seasons. 1st and 10, Jacksonville. The ever-reliable Brian Thomas is there. It's interesting how he has shifted away from being this, take the top off receiver that hits the big plays all the time into this super reliable underneath receiver but it's the role we really need him in. Joe Johnson runs for the first. Moving ahead, 3rd and 7. Ravens hoping for a quick stay on defense. Chuck Johnson down the field! What'd you say about those 7-yard catches? I can still go 65! Touchdown, Brian Thomas. This looked like one of those cover 2 invert plays where you put a safety into a near impossible situation, especially with an upper tier field stretcher on the outside. The Ravens have 9 yards of offense. Panic time in Baltimore. But one guy who can settle it all down is Lamar Jackson. He's the only one capable of doing it. Baltimore looking for a heroic effort out of Lamar, and that is going to be a minimal gain. They've got to protect better on 3rd downs, and that's not the definition. I mean, those screens don't always get set up nicely. Another returnable punt, and Benji Cormier does a nice job. Kind of letting him handle some of these special teams chances as we're missing Kevin Parker and Reuben Ross. And if Joe Johnson's getting so much of the running back workload, why not? Now we set up a screen. That's a fumble! Diving on it! They'll say down by contact at the 13. And that's the big play Baltimore really needed. Lamar with a red zone trip gifted to him. Tries to outrun Trayvon Walker and is sacked. Motioning out for a swing pass. Flying up the sideline. Nice gain for Marshall. But 3rd down has been Baltimore's worst. Jackson against the blitz. He's going down. Josh Hines-Allen gets there. Sergio Baxter from the other angle. They'll get on the scoreboard most likely, but a field goal can't feel like much of a win there. Johnson to Thomas, and the Jags are back at it. 3rd down and 1, too easy there. Ridley hauls it in. 1st down, and there's the pressure Baltimore needs. They just broke through the line as we fell apart on that snap. 3rd down, 9 yards to go, and Johnson, he can't complete the pass to Mitchell. Gave him a chance. Lamar Jackson completing to Zay Flowers. Finally, a simple play works as it should for the Ravens. Josh Hines-Allen coming off now after that snap. So that's one piece of our great defensive line out, but Martin Cooper becomes the replacement. So we run 5 deep across this line. Tight coverage, but caught in front of short. Flipped ahead, and that's not a good time for the penalty. 3rd and 1, and you hold. 5 on the rush. Jackson completes it again. And it'll be 4th down and a little too far out for them to consider going for it. Over the middle from Johnson. That's Brian Thomas. Another big gain. Proving me wrong earlier. I love it. Never been happier to be wrong about the role Thomas is playing in this offense. Through the middle, a nice run for Benji Cormier, 6 yards. Oddly enough, a lot of our big games in the postseason have come from the not so big of names, like Stanley Billups' 3-interception game. We have Johnson over the middle and Thomas again. Joe Wilder had a 10-catch postseason game last year. Thomas Ridley just had one. And now we're having perhaps the Brian Thomas game unfold. Johnson on the slant. Thought that just flashed touchdown. No, it said timeout. But a good catch to the 1. That was Adonai Mitchell. And Joe Johnson finishes the drive. And it's a 3-score Jacksonville advantage. "30 seconds to go in the first half, and Baltimore may just have to take this into the locker room." Another dominant half of football for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and a massive hill to climb for Baltimore to end our run. Jackson and the Ravens open the second half, and the turnaround needs to begin now. They have a talented receiving core, and they just haven't been able to establish any kind of a rhythm. Lobbing is Jackson, and coming away with it, Zay Flowers at the 41. And then they mix in the run, and Joseph Bowen sends them backwards. Off the hands, you cannot be dropping that ball right there. 3rd and 12, a rocket from Lamar and denied. J.D. short. Promising start, but the inability to stack these plays on top of each other continues to sink our opponents. 3rd down here, it's short of the sticks. Cormier reaches, but he does not get it. I thought he did. That reach was pretty good. Lamar Jackson, he's in trouble and wrapped up. Ratliff and Walker combine. Flying in for another sack. That's Devin Lloyd. 5 on Lamar Jackson. Strong run. Joe Johnson just escapes the tackle. On 3rd down, Chuck Johnson with an escape that wasn't as clean as many others we've seen him attempt. 4th down. Lamar trying to keep and sprints out to the 40, and could this one be coming back now? Baltimore just can't get out of their own way. Holding on, good catch. And that's the star tight end, Rashard Warner, who's been suspiciously quiet in this game. Play action with Jackson dumping off, and there is a conversion. Those have not come easy. Great catch. Ravens to the 40 now. Finally stacking some plays together now as we will take this game into the 4th quarter. And Lamar Jackson is going to have to bring back the Ravens from down 18. 3rd and 9. Not a first down, and they're really going to need a good play to come right now. But they're just going to play it safe. So this will cut it back to a 2-possession game. Field goal from 40 yards is good. 21-6. What a catch! Adonai Mitchell, gain of 8. So now it becomes a game of keep away. Can we stop the Ravens from getting 3 more possessions in this game? Can we burn off some clock now? Cormier in the game at running back as Johnson looking over the middle. Mitchell! He's been pretty busy. Off the fake now, and Ridley. So tough to follow across the field. 1st down. 21 yards out. Ridley. Big open field tackle. That wasn't one they could afford to miss. But even if we just fall over here and kick a field goal, it becomes a 3-possession game again. Joe Johnson not getting the football here. It's Joe Wilder. A little short. And the field goal team wisely comes out. Kick is up and through. 24-6. We're sending pressure at Lamar Jackson, and they'll hit a big pass down the sideline. Warner goes to the 31. But time is just not on the Ravens' side right now. To have that field goal trade did them no favors. 4.5 minutes to go in a 3-possession game. A Super Bowl ticket right around the corner. Jackson, good catch. Now Flowers makes the grab. Baltimore back in the red zone. Running it now to the 10 and beyond. Lamar first and goal. Lamar faking, then throwing, and it's caught for the touchdown. Making this a 2-possession game is Courtney Compton. Not sure why kick the extra point here. I would look for a 10-point game. But that is at least a score for the Ravens, who need 2 more possessions. Can they steal one now with the onside kick? High hop. Wow, Mitchell. That was a really good onside kick try. Joe Johnson has a chance to end it. On the wrong end there of a Kyle Hamilton hit stick. 3rd down and well guarded, and the clock stops as well. And we're going to send out Aubrey. We know he can hit this, but is it wise to attempt it? 59 yards off the upright. And the Ravens catch a couple breaks. Lamar has to go 51 yards now, and he's dropped for a loss. It's Bowen. So that brings us to the warning. The issue for Baltimore now is you only have 1 timeout remaining, so you need a speedy drive here. Only 1 clock stoppage left. Lamar, can he hit a big play? Will he even try? That might have been better dropped, because now you trade those yards for another 10 plus seconds. You need a better trade in your favor, and that's caught at the 35. Jackson dumped again, and 5 yards on the Warner reception. Now you're in, gotta have the onside kick territory. Lamar over the middle for Flowers. You might as well call the timeout there, honestly, because the timeout can't help you on defense. But they let it run. 32 to go. Jackson sacked again. Timeout. Plenty of time. It's complete, but you're running out of downs here. There's the 17-second runoff. We are going to head to the Super Bowl, everybody. And it ends on an interception. Edgerrin Cooper. And the Jaguars are headed back for a chance at repeating. To the Super Bowl we go for the 2nd straight year. And will we get that rematch against the Giants? Or will it be the Green Bay Packers, a team that we blew out during the regular season? The way this front four can take over games is special. And Chuck Johnson is just not giving teams many chances to get back in games. He's not making many mistakes. Brian Thomas goes for 9, 165, and a touchdown. Excellent day for him. I can't wait to see this team fight for another ring. I think I'd love to see a Giants rematch, especially considering the way that our regular season game ended. That leaves a bad taste. Even if it's more Madden's fault than them, like, truly avenging us. We had some injuries, though. We're going to have some players out. And LaDamian Bigby and Sam Cosmi are likely missing the Super Bowl. So we are going to probably put at least 3 of those guys on injured reserve and make some last-minute signings. Although we get to move past the Pro Bowl week, so not so fast. And we are getting a Super Bowl rematch. It's the Jaguars and the Giants. They move past the Green Bay Packers by a score of 27-17. I imagine we'll have to deal with Randall Cooper this time around as opposed to last year's game. We're going to have 2 incredible defensive lines, and I think this matchup is going to come down largely to which quarterback can avoid the mistakes. Let's just see if there are any other injuries to add on to this then. Looking good on offense. Nobody additional is missing. And, well, that is a pretty big deal right there. Last year, their Defensive Player of the Year couldn't go. And now Joseph Bowen is going to miss. And it looks like Edgerrin Cooper will as well. Those are two significant takeaways from this defense. When we load into the Super Bowl, I can see if either of these players can play through their injury. I'd love to have Bowen in there, obviously. I feel like there's a chance there. But that's significant. And it would have been a lot more fun to have both defenses at full strength. But I guess this is what they dealt with a year ago, and now it's our turn. Are there any changes here with development? Aubrey at Superstar. I have no idea if that is new at all. We do have Sergio Baxter at Star Dev. That is brand new for him. So that will help his quest for a new contract in the offseason. But first, can he help us win a second ring? That is going to be on the line next episode, everybody, as we conclude year 6 of the Jaguars franchise and try to go back to back with different cap situations with our quarterback. Can't wait for this game. Hope you're looking forward to it, everybody. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Do you think the Jags can pull it off again? Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the Super Bowl.